We are Lagos Talks 91.3.
Let's talk. Welcome to today's edition of The People's Perspective, where we get to dissect the topical issues from your perspective. My name is Ifunanya. By the way, welcome to the Midday Show. It's the Friday's edition of the Midday Show with me, Ifunanya, and I'm here with you all the way down to 4 p.m., keeping you entertained, keeping you company, keeping you very well informed, and just having fun with you, really. It's a beautiful Friday. So yes, let's get back into the people's perspective. And my unequivocal co-host, Sheun Anikolakbo Kuti, is right here.
I do. I'm here, people. How you doing this Friday, Lagos? It's the TPP.
Ay,
Yeah, you know
ay,
we got
ay,
the TPP.
ay, ay.
Okay. We have the best team song.
We do, actually.
Nobody can tell us anything.
All right, guys. We're just going to get into the stories for today. First off, we're going to be touching on the federal government approving $1.5 billion for the rehabilitation of the Port Harcourt Refinery. And so you might have heard this already. This happened on Wednesday, where the Federal Executive Council actually approved the plan by the Ministry of Petroleum Resources to rehabilitate the Port Harcourt Refinery with $1.5 billion. Now, this decision was taken at the weekly meeting.
I'm not interrupting you. Please call this money again.
1.5 billion, not naira, dollars.
I said call this money
not
again.
CDs.
Let me hear. Call
Dollars, 1.5 billion. So if they give you 1.5 billion, what are you going to do with it now?
1.5 billion. I'll rent a whole cruise ship. The cruise ships are not they've now been found to be environmentally unfriendly. So we can't use.
Is it because of COVID-19?
No. They did
some
investigative
research
journalism on them, and they dump their waste
into the
ocean,
water.
all the crude from
the aquatic
really
life suffering.
So I'll find it. I'll get a balloon.
So,
I'll get one of those balloons.
Okay. The hot air balloons.
Yes. I'll take you.
Okay.
Chef Yede.
Oh,
on a cruise around
Chef
the world.
Yede. Okay.
With a hot air balloon.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Whilst you're thinking about more things that we're going to
That's
do.
the first thing I do. Throughout this trip, I now think of, is it true taking that fresh air from, from like.
Is our climate good for that? Because we're going to have to leave from Nigeria, Abi. Or where will we go? Are we going to go somewhere first and then
we can leave from the border?
Okay, we'll leave from the border.
We can leave from, because we're not sure that that thing can fly. Say bandits. You can't fly balloon safely across Nigeria.
Yeah, that you have a point there.
Yeah, so we have to go from like Cotonou, navigate with the wings.
Oh, okay.
Go through like from Ghana, push out from that side.
Okay.
Gambia.
I think that's a plan. But whilst you're, putting some more thought into that plan, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timi Praise Silva, actually disclosed this to the State House correspondents at the end of the meeting at the Presidential Villa right there in Abuja. He did say, and I quote, "The Ministry of Petroleum Resources presented a memo on the rehabilitation of Port Harcourt Refinery for the sum of $1.5 billion. And that memo was $1.5 billion, and it was approved by Council today. So we are happy to announce that the rehabilitation of the refinery will commence in 3 phases. The first phase is to be completed in 18 months, which will take the refinery to a production of 90% of its nameplate capacity. And the second phase is to be completed in 24 months. And all the finals, and at the final stage, it will be completed in 44 months, and consultations are approved as well. And he said, I believe that this is good news for Nigeria. Now, Sheun, we know that petroleum affects every part of our lives. It affects our standard of living, affects transportation, the price of foodstuff. It affects every Nigerian. And a lot of times when we're having issues with the increase in the price of petroleum, which of course affects the common man and affects everyone, one area of discussion is, what about our refineries? What is the government doing to ensure that the refineries are being rehabilitated? Because we do believe if that we begin to process our own petroleum products, it will affect the prices, which will be favorable for the common man here in Nigeria. However, Sheun, is this the first time that the government has ventured into the rehabilitation of any refinery in Nigeria?
Well, the government doesn't only have problem with rehabilitating refinery. It has problem with rehabilitating road, school, hospital, anything that has to do with work. This government generally, they don't like, doing it much. We have the history of that in Nigeria. Look at Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Look how long it's taking this government to deliver that to the people.
Yeah.
And this is building a highway. China is demolishing and rebuilding bridges overnight.
Exactly.
Overnight. You know, so we're not asking for that. Let's agree, you know. So, and now when you follow the news, you hear that they've spent 25 billion actually dollars on maintaining these refineries.
Yeah.
So it's only in Nigeria you find the situation where we have Dangote is building a refinery for $14 billion dollars, and we have maintained refinery with 25 billion. You know, so it's only in Nigeria you see that kind of waste, you see that kind of disconnect from reality. You understand, when these people throw figures at the people. You know, I've said this thing at the show before. You know, when people are talking about billions, you know, maybe people don't understand billion. Let me explain it. You know, billion. Listen, guys. 1 million seconds is 11 days. 1 million seconds is 11 days. 1 billion seconds is 32.8 years. That is the difference between billion and million. You understand me, everybody? So when these people are trained, it's only in this, and it's only in this our poor country. Because don't let anybody tell that Nigeria is rich. If the larger percentage of your citizenship living below the poverty line, you are also known as the poverty capital of the world. How can you be saying you're a rich country just because you want to be driving the best cars as government officials? If the government officials lived according to the welfare level of Nigeria, our president's official car should be a Tokumbo Toyota Camry. I'm telling you that his constituents will gather money to buy for him. They will not be saying, yes, why would our president of a country like Nigeria be driving G-Wagon, bulletproof, stretch G-Wagon, every guy, you know, all those things that they have. I mean, come on. It is not in tandem with the development of the country.
Yeah.
You know, when you see all these countries that drive all these cars, many of them manufacture it in their country.
Yes, of course.
So, in Nigeria, you hear that they are building road. You hear that they spend $200 million on a road. You understand? Only in these poor African countries. Because if you go to Europe and America, they are doing the same kind of road. You'll be hearing £1 million, 2.5 million, 3 million, 10 million for road. Come to Nigeria, one small 2-kilometer road, 20 million. I mean, $200 million. This $1 million. One bridge, billion is gone. All these figures, you know, what I want to ask is, where are the Nigerian engineers? Where are the Nigerian quantity surveyors? When are the professionals of this country going to stand up for this country? You know, we need to ask these questions. It's important because when these people are telling us they're spending this kind of money on this project, it is the duty of those of us among us that have the knowledge to stand up and counter these false narratives. You know, I mean, 1.5 billion to repair refinery. I mean, what are they putting? Golden pipe? Are they laying golden pipes that's going to bring petrol straight to everybody's house now?
Yeah.
You understand? Because this, I'm not saying it's not expensive to fix a refinery, but 1.5 billion.
It's quite outlandish.
And they say they've already spent 25. And the cost of a new one that we are building in our country, I'm thinking we should investigate how much did Niger build their own refinery that is working.
That's a very good question.
How much did they build one refinery in Niger? Please go and check. Niger is landlocked. Niger is landlocked.
Yeah.
Right? So it's even harder for them to get, what's it called? It's even harder for them to get materials that they don't produce locally.
Yeah.
So, how much did Niger build their own?
So, Shehu, in this case, because the truth is, we do need refineries, working refineries.
Yes, I agree.
At this point in Nigeria, we should have gotten, we should have refineries that are functioning properly. Now that this ridiculous or ludicrous amount of money has been approved for the rehabilitation of a refinery that once existed, what next? Because we can stay here and we obviously could talk about and criticize how clearly we know that that refinery, it will not cost that amount of money. to rehabilitate that refinery. We already know this. We already know that corruption is ingrained in our system. But now that they've already approved this amount of money, what then do we expect of the government? Is this going to be yet another story of, well, this is the amount of money that we've sequestered for this amazing project that will move Nigeria forward, and then maybe in the next 2-3 years, it's the same cycle over and over again? What then do we do as citizens in placing a demand on the government?
Where we live in a weird state in this country is that I think we're the only citizens in the world that when our government says something, nobody can really be sure.
That's sad.
So until we're even sure they're going to build the refinery with that money, until we're sure that money is going to even get to the refinery and do what it's supposed to do. Because if a refinery that is not been working, that they're not trying to fix, see, it's costing 1.5 billion to fix it.
Yeah.
But they've been spending 25 billion to maintain it while it's not working. So what stopped them all this year? So you see, for me, it's not about we need refineries. It's the logic of it. Why are we just, what is this logic? So if this is the truth, then that means 25 billion has been wasted.
Yes.
Where is the proof? Where is the oversight on this money? But it's Nigeria's Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Every man for himself. Only God is for everybody, right? That's what they say. So but we as Nigerian people, we need, this is why I always say, like, the Nigerian professionals must begin to align themselves with the people. From all walks of life, from being in the media and entertainment to those in engineering. This is the time for them to stand up and say, no, we can do it for the people of this country for this amount. Of
course. I think what's also worrisome for me is now that this particular ridiculous amount of money has been approved by the government, on one hand, we can say we need systems which clearly already exist for checks and balances to be able to hold these individuals accountable. But now the question is, I always wondered, growing up, I just always wondered Nigeria that is rich with petroleum, but till right now that I'm a grown woman, we still do not have a functioning refinery. And I always wonder and I always ask. And just getting into conversation with adults and the things that they've experienced also in the past, one thing that they've said, and I want you to also let me know if this is something that you believe or not. Now, these are speculations. These are based on their own opinions or their ideas. They said that the reason why we already know that, dysfunctionality serves a specific group of people in Nigeria. Yeah. The fact that things are not working is because there are a few people that are benefiting from it. And so what some of these people said to me, like I mentioned, allegedly, right, was that the elites have stakes in refineries outside of Nigeria.
That's not news now.
So is that true? Because me bringing this up right now was because about like 3 weeks ago, so I got into conversation with someone and, she was just hell-bent on, this is not true. Where are the facts? Who can you point out to? How can you really prove that this particular person has a stake in these different refineries that are outside of Nigeria?
Well, even, I think in 2012, during the subsidy protest, when they were doing the panel at the National Assembly, many of those people were accused of, having stake in outside refineries, or conniving with outside refineries to bring in petrol that they say that they've delivered petrol that they don't deliver. Like that. And that many of them also owned stakes or actually outrightly owned refineries outside. Okay. I mean, even though they didn't finish the investigation in the usual Nigerian way,
So with that information, knowing that, yes, that has always existed, do you think that that would also pose a problem to this existing project that the government is about to embark upon with this ridiculous $1.5 billion?
You see, what is amazing here is this. What is amazing that really trips me out is this country, when we do these things, is that we don't really hold people's feet to the fire. People do things and they get away with it so easily. Everybody just forget, and as soon as we forget, new day, new everything, blah, 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 everybody just forget, and I say, okay, don't worry, new one will come out to replenish the old one that we have squandered. This is the system, this is the style. Now, what is incredible is that when these refineries first got bad, you had economists in Nigeria that recommended that we started importing.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yes. That the government had no business in refining petroleum, by the way. So all these economists, all these experts, analysts, they all come outside on TV and radio to talk, their big English and show their knowledge, forgetting that in these their equations that they've taught them in their university, all these their Oyibo westernized equations that they use to bamboozle them to understand economics. When are they ever going to add the humanity of their people? To see that, okay, these things they've been trying, look at the poverty it's causing, it's not working. When are they going to stop using African people's lives to experiment? Even if they don't want to now even consider the humanity. But you can see that this experiment is great. But no, you understand? Deregulation. How can you deregulate petroleum prices when Nigerian people are not being paid world-class salary?
Exactly.
You say we should start buying commodities in Nigeria at world-class rates, but you don't pay us the international agreed minimum wage for us to be able to compete in this so-called world market.
Yeah.
Right? But you want us to be paying you, the elites of this country, the masters of our existence, world-class prices for everything that you give to us. How can that work?
Yeah.
How can that work? So you're the same people that say, it's better for the private people to take charge. Better for the private, the private people have taken charge. The government will subsidize it, whatever cost, to make it affordable for the Nigerian people. Subsidize it. So subsidy was their own way of ameliorating the cost of this world commodity that grows under our ground.
Yeah.
Right? But wouldn't it have been better to create a more vibrant nation where people can afford world-class goods instead of sitting on all the benefits for yourself? You understand? No, but they gave us the tokenism of subsidy. And they now explain subsidy to everybody as if it's a bad thing for Nigerians to engage.
Shaun, before we get
Anyway,
further into that's the next topic that we're touching on. But what are your thoughts about this? Our first topic for today, we're talking about the federal government approving $1.5 billion for rehabilitating the Port Harcourt Refinery. What are your thoughts about this? Do you think that this is a welcome development? Are there questions you'd like to ask? Do you have reservations about the government's decision to approve such a ridiculous amount of money just for the rehabilitation of one refinery? Let's get your take. You can give us a call, 0809 234 5913, 0809 191 3913, 0809 222 0913, 01 515 0913, and also 01 515 1913. Lagos Talks, good morning. Who's speaking, please?
Good morning, Lucy.
Good morning.
Good morning, Augustine.
Ebuka,
Hey, Ebuka, good morning.
I hear your voice.
Nice one, bro. Lucy, how your side?
Fine, thank you. All right, let's get your
just like
take.
this money you mentioned now, I don't even know if federal governments have really divided it for the common man on the street. Are they just putting the money to get the refinery working for them to make money off the common man on the street? So you pointed out something that they have not come to analyze common minimum wage. Like the other side, they say it was due, it's overdue now 2 times. It has not been reviewed. We are still battling from 18,000 to 33,000 naira. They have not come to take it up when it comes to the regulation. Now, when Kunu was online, someone pointed out something. This rules is like 200 and something thereabouts. The other day, PSP came to our office. They gave us price. Even in my compound where I'm living, they said, with the kind of addition, they increased it, they said, because these people have added money. I've been wondering. So even PSP that will come once in a while to cry about us being even time, they will even take it away by ourselves. They are increasing their addition. What is these petroleum people doing? Are they really breaking this thing down for a common man on the street? Are they just for themselves? Good afternoon, bro. Hi.
Good morning. Lagos Talks, good morning. Who's speaking? Please turn off your radio.
It's Tom.
All right, what's your name?
You have a bio on the line.
All right, let's
So,
hear
good
you.
morning.
Good morning, my sister.
Brother.
I want to commend you for last week and you stood your ground. I'm happy for that. I want to tell you something about the refineries, and what really angers me is this. The first phase of the refinery, out of that $1.5 billion that is supposed to last for 18 months, is going to produce gas. Okay? And when you talk about gas, right from the oil wellhead, and you have your flow station, you already flaring the same gas. So what is the 90% production capacity of the refinery? That is one. Two, another question that Nigerians are not asking whenever they come up with landing costs and handling costs on the recoveries and others and others. What happens to the 450,000 barrels of crude oil given to the NNPC for domestic refining, for domestic consumption? What happens to it? I don't want to go into
I always ask
this,
that one.
but I want to tell you that when you look at the refineries, because I've operated the refineries and I know the state there, the government cannot and will never, ever operate those refineries to guarantee that they produce 1 naira as a profit. They have never made a kobo for the Nigerian state right from inception. Okay? I don't want to go into some other details that people will begin to say as this and this and that. But I do know that those refineries, the state they are at the moment, is a man is dead, certified dead, and some people are telling you that, let us change the brain, let us change the liver, let us change the lungs, and it's going to come alive. Government should hands off the refinery and stop this disease. And a whole lot of Nigerian journalists, they buy into this government deceit of telling you handling under recovery. What is under recovery? Please, it simply means subsidy. This government is just being clever by telling you that they're not paying subsidy. The GLD of NNPC said that they are taking under recovery costs. Is same thing as subsidy. And subsidy, we must do away with it. We must hold these people accountable to account for the 450,000 barrels per day. Your oil is in standards. How can somebody tell me, as a petroleum engineer and a petroleum economist, that you're going to produce gas and the refinery will be 90% of its production capacity? No!
All right. Thank you very much for your take. Very sound points you've made right there. If you are listening, this is the People's Perspective. We are now speaking about the federal government approving $1.5 billion for rehabilitating the Port Harcourt refinery. What are your thoughts about this? 0809 234 5913, 0809 222 0913, 0809 191 3913. Lagos Talks, please turn off your radio.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good morning. Who's speaking, please?
This is Boye Olaolu speaking from Lagos.
All right, welcome. Join the conversation, please.
Yeah, you see, concerning the money used for the refinery, I read in the news.
Okay.
And after the refinery is repaired, it's going to be sold. And I asked, what's the essence then of refining, of repairing the refinery that will eventually be sold? So this
we seem to have lost that. Lagos Talks. All right, we seem to have lost that as well. If you want to send a WhatsApp message, please send it to 0809 234 5913. Shaun, what do you want to say?
I can even tell him right now that that's the usual style. If you go and check how they privatize the electric, PHCN, and they now took it and privatized it. Yeah. Under Okonjo-Iweala then, she said that the whole thing it cost 9 billion. Then she used 3 billion to renovate it, to bring it up to scratch, to get it up to standard. And they sold the entire thing again. So that's 12 billion that we spent. The thing is worth 9. You now spend another 3 to bring it up to bang. So now it's $12 billion. These dollars, see, people don't.
So, Mr. T.
Thank you.
When you call us, you have to say Mr. T from Italy. You get me?
All right, let's get your take, Mr. T.
Okay, so for sure, like Shil mentioned, this amount is exorbitant. And what I've always noticed is if if the government in Nigeria they're mentioning black prices, then something is wrong. Because nothing of like big budgets has ever really worked in that country. It's obvious that there's going to be some embezzling. And my own second point is that if you look all around Europe right now, even like USA, for example, like all on the street you have like electric cars. So the world is moving, like we should be planning for the future. I know we don't have enough electric, power to even, power household items or like have the whole country running at the same time. But we need to be looking forward, what does the future hold? Like we can't, like the world is moving away from fossil fuels.
Hello. Ooh, I think we lost his call, but thank you very much. This is coming from Lansky on Twitter. By the way, if you want to send a tweet, please send it to @LagosTalks913. So @LagosTalks913, use the hashtag #ThePeoplesPerspective. The People's Perspective. Please ensure that you use that hashtag so we can see your tweet. So Lansky is saying, Shewan, if no nation can grow beyond the thresholds of its educational system and the vision of its leaders, we must start discussing fundamentals. Does Nigeria even look like a country to you guys? At least we should have a country first. Lagos Talks, good morning. Who's speaking? Please turn off your radio.
Good morning, EC.
Good morning.
Good morning, this is Adeyemi. Good morning to Omobaba.
Good morning, my brother. Welcome
Good morning,
to the show.
my brother. Adeyemi from Okota. You see, I think Shehu has really put his fingers on the main point. But I'm worried that the reason why you are having that high cost is because there is no competition. Even if you are going to, repair, to rehabilitate any specific thing, we have a law. There's a procurement law which says that you should put it out to tender. And so what Shehu is saying, for example, wherein you have the local engineers making in an input, they even didn't have a chance. And then see what they came out with. They came out with Degremont. Degremont is well known for water supply. And now they're now employed, or intended to be employed for the repair of this refinery. This is it's a crosswire, as you could say. It is not going to work. My take is let them leave this refinery as it is, for God's sake. Just 2 years, 3 years, we will get to a point where we will be able to take care of things by ourselves. The government is not ready to do the needful, and we're just going to do a wasteful venture.
Okay. Thank you very much for your take. On WhatsApp, this is coming from Peter Yorinde saying, good morning, Ifi and Sheon. That refinery sets now big animal. You want to swallow $1.5 billion.
My guy.
On that balloon, you want to buy Nachakogo power, no big gas. On the refinery, crude oil doesn't consist only gasoline. It has kerosene, diesel, gas, bitumen, petrochemicals, etc. Don't we have proof of account that shows what these refineries do with the other parts of crude oil, or we send them the barrels and buy just the gasoline? So what is all about the regular turnaround maintenance of refineries? This is coming from a listener saying, good morning, I'm tired of this country. The senators should reduce their salary and use the money to be subsidizing the fuel for their citizens. If they go on and increase this fuel next month, we are going to turn the country upside down. This is coming from Lucky saying, good morning, Ifi and Sheon. Which kind of refinery our government is building? Is it diamond refinery or gold refinery? This is from Johnson saying, for $1.5 billion refinery, why can't they give it to the big international oil company to manage rather than wasting such a huge sum of money? This is coming from a listener saying, please, you should have given more time to Obaro. Who's Obaro?
Oh.
I'm not really sure who Obaro is. This is coming from a listener saying experts had advised that it's better to build another one rather than the turnover maintenance. I've always heard from the government for many years now. The question is the yearly amount budgeted for the refinery in Nigeria budget. Where is it? Who have they prosecuted for misappropriation of funds? This is coming from Michael saying, what baffles me is the fact that for years a venture can be run for years and huge salaries paid to its workers for years, but even a liter of fuel has not been refined and you're still putting more money. This is coming from A listener saying, please let them share the money with the less privileged, Jare. This is coming from Alabi saying, good morning, Ife and Cheun. You should have given Obaro. Who's Obaro?
I don't know.
And I'm so sorry. You know, we've given each caller that has called sufficient and ample time. You know, it's a show. We need to keep the ball rolling. But thank you very much. Now, just moving on to the next story, which, you know, somewhat is in line with the refinery topic. The federal government just yesterday said that the government, through the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, known as NNPC, as we know, will not continue to bear the about 120 billion naira monthly subsidy burden on the petroleum products. Now, the government said the burden had become too heavy to bear, and that after the conclusion of talks with the organized labor on how to cushion the effects of the deregulation of the oil sector, the market forces will be allowed to determine prices of petroleum products.
They themselves have become a burden too large for the Nigerian people to bear. Do you know the cost of government in this country? We run probably the most expensive government in the world. I mean, nobody should.
And have some of the most poorest.
So nobody
in the
should
world
tell
as well.
Our own subsidy is our share of the national cake. See, Nigerian people, that's how you must see this subsidy. Don't let anybody tell you any story about subsidy that is bad. What are we chopping? What are we enjoying? Inflation. Is that our own share of the national cake? Inflation, police brutality, traffic jam, no light, sickness. The only thing we enjoy as Nigerians from this government, we're sure. Then among themselves, they're not stealing. You see now. See. This is why Nigeria. See, Nigerians. This is why we must mobilize in this country.
Of course.
I'm telling you, politically, to take our destiny into our own hands. They already corner every other good thing in this country. Then the small change, what would they chop? Subsidy. They see enter inside. It's over. They say, "Oh, this one is body. This is a sacred cow of the people that help Nigerian people that just keep everything balanced. Traffic, transport not too cost, food not too cost. Everybody just generate for a generator they work. You know, everybody just generate tomorrow just keep and balance. Now lie. They see took their eye inside there, hammer corruption put inside. They chop the one who will not chop. Say that they can't collect subsidy.
So, Seun,
I mean, it is just sinister. I mean, say what you want. I mean, sorry.
No, that's okay. You know, with the subsidy right now and the government saying, listen, we cannot bear this burden again. Now, one of the listeners rightfully pointed out, because when this conversation about subsidy is not today. It's something we've been having for such a long time, right? And a lot of times when this conversation comes to play or comes to light, one area that is being pointed out by the citizenry is the exorbitant cost of running government in Nigeria,
Listen,
like you did mention.
I'm telling you,
and
all these experts are the same experts that told us to start this subsidy in the first place. Now they're the ones that are telling us to privatize the refinery.
Before we get into the experts, right? If we take a look at the allowances and the salaries of political office holders, especially those in the National Assembly, a lot of times citizens wonder, why can you not reduce or beat down the ridiculous allowances like newspaper allowance, hardship allowance, in order to, further lighten the burden that the people are already facing as being the poverty capital of the world?
Should I even tell you a radical idea? Nigeria should run a free government.
Well, that's...
Anybody in government, if you decide to serve Nigerians the way we are now, the way this country, you should be doing it for free. We'll pay your transport. We'll pay your child school fees while you are working for us. All those things, all those bills.
How many of these leaders do you think we would have if that was the case?
So we know that's how you know that you have true leaders, true servants in leadership position. Not putting your master, say he's your servant. That cannot work. You understand? So that's what we are doing. Let's find true people that want to serve. Truly, the way Nigeria is, the elites of this country, all their children they've sent all over the world to go and study this and that. Why all of them coming to even join us in music? They're gone. They should take all of them to come and repair this country. All the degrees they have from all the international university, Harvard, everywhere, all of them go everywhere, posting their children graduating up and down. They just used to go and work in the banks abroad and all the big company. They should put them in government and they should work for free for this country. Yes. How did they get anything that they are? Say, okay, fine, this country has given you all this. So yeah.
But if they work for free, they're also entitled to allowances. Because if you're working, you should be.
That's how. To be public school everywhere. We say that's how they are working to fix it. So that's we know they are fixing it. The hospitals are there. We'll pay for all the only bill they have from there. We'll pay. We'll pay their housing. I mean, all these empty houses everywhere. I mean, that was not a problem. I mean, we'll take care of you for the amount of years you serve. 4 years, 8 years. You know, if you want to do 2 terms.
I highly doubt that they want to do 2 terms.
Like doing 2 terms. I mean, I think.
But I feel like also what really bothers me about this decision the government is about to make as regards, telling us that they can't bear the burden of this subsidy anymore is what is the government also doing to cushion the effect of the pressure that would, be mounted upon Nigerians when this then happens? Because already we see that not only before COVID-19, we have been the poverty capital of the world. Even post-COVID, almost post-COVID, we see how much, detrimental it's been on the average Nigerian. So now when this does happen, what is the government, willing to do to cushion the effect?
I don't even know what to do anymore. I don't vex now. How can people have made billions on our petrol and diesel in this country and none of their children has designed refinery for us? Upon all the school. So none of their children even go read petrochemical engineering, anything like that. Like, I want to be like that. I want to control the petroleum business of the world. My dad is such a great man. I see him working on.
But then, Sheon, the truth is, like they always say, the apple does not fall far from the tree, because if you as a father or as a mother who is holding political office, or you're an elite in the system, and this is the you're just you're an elite in the system, and this is the legacy that you're leaving for your child. What else? Your child doesn't know better. Your child knows what they're seeing their father do.
But my own point.
So are we expecting the children to be different?
But you are petroleum minister. You have billionaires in petroleum industry, diesel business, marketers. None of their children, all these thousands of children, no one has designed refinery for the Nigerian people. Say, if Nigerian people are packing all their money and giving it to me, the way they give it to all these people.
Let's take a few more calls.
Let's take some calls.
Lagos Talks. Lagos Talks, good afternoon. Or good morning, I beg your pardon. Who's speaking, please?
Good morning. My name is Alabi. I sent a WhatsApp message to you.
Okay.
Hi there, Sean.
Hello, I did you.
Okay, you try, my brother. I will see you. All of us are in this together. God will help us. The reason why I called it is because you did not finish reading my message. I said Obaro was one of the guests that was being invited by the guru on Morning Digest last week, and he translated more about this issue of petroleum. So it's a petrol economy.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, but Obaro is not here. This is the people's perspective. So let's speak based on what is being spoken about now.
You were trying to make some point. You should have given me more time. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Well, you guys are doing good work.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Lagos Talks. Good morning. Who's speaking? All right. Keep your calls coming through. This is coming from Sunday saying this refinery talk is a big scam. I don't see it coming even after they hand over. Lagos Talks. Good morning. Who's speaking, please?
Good morning. This is Men We Are God. I'm still from Ojobu.
Sorry, what's your name?
Men We Are God.
All right. Let's hear you.
Yes. What I just suggesting is this. We have engineers in this country who can repair a refinery. If this money is going, if half of this money will pay on our engineers, I think the money will be circulated in this country. And you see, we are neglecting our engineers. We have people in this country who can do more than the so-called the white people. People are making profit out of this contract. Let us give it to our engineers. Let us give them the type of good luck. I think somewhere in the United States, there's some engineers that did something about power something, and then it's working. Huh? So why are we always going on your foreign? Thank you.
All right, Lagos Talks. Good morning. Who's speaking?
Yeah, good morning. Thank God I reached through.
Thank God, oh. Who's speaking?
Thank God, oh. This is Victor. I'm calling from Ikeja.
All right, Victor, welcome. Please join the conversation.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Shehu. You know why?
Correct,
He
man.
keeps it straight to the point.
He definitely
I've been
does.
listening to this program for so long, since the inception. But anytime I try to call, it's not been easy.
Oh, wow. Well, thank God that you're able to get through today.
See, the matter is it's straightforward. If you want the government to own the refinery, and there are several examples around the world, it is working. If you want private owners, the way Americans and some European companies are running, where you have the Shell, the Mobil, the Chevron, and the rest, it is working. It is all about you being transparent, bringing the right professionals. I am an engineer. I service different sectors. I service oil and gas. The transparency, that is the problem. It is our leaders are just they have black mind.
My brother, the mind
They are
black.
active, full of
I don't want to use black because the mind, if more just use evil because you come like saying now all black people. The mind evil.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And another thing again, you what made me to say I must call? You said something. The minimum wage is crazy. How can I served in 2011. My minimum wage is NYC 20,000. This is 2021, and they are trying to increase it to 30,000. But when inflation has increased like several times, I bought my car Corolla in 2014. I bought it 1.9. Go and look at that car now. And still, minimum wage is still 30,000. How do you expect someone to survive in this same country when inflation has increased almost 5-6 times? And economy, you say something about the economy. Economy will come, they will blow big grammar.
I swear they annoy me.
And they're coming. They are not. I can use my own layman sense to know that inflation has increased several times since I was working. Since I got my first work 2013, and inflation has increased almost 4 times since I started being aware of my money. I'm not talking of my father's money or my own. Since I started being aware of my own money, inflation has been close to 4 times. And economy, they will see that they will be speaking English for you people. You people will invite them. Please, again, where is that man? That guy you invited to your radio station. You people use him as a jingle. One public special advisor. He's from Ogoni, he's a Harcourt. I think he worked in channels. He said Buhari will repair this refinery. Don't worry, this and that. And you people use him as jingle. So you people should bring him back and let him sit down and you people ask him all these questions.
All right, thank you very much.
Because
I have no idea who you're talking about, but carry on.
But when people even talk about, like privatization in the answer, private privatization, I'm like, if we just watch TV, we allow these economists, so-called economists, that they've put money in their pocket, come and lie to us, and we just swallow it without actually looking at our own reality.
Yeah.
How many things do we have in Nigeria that is public? All the private transport, the downfall you are entering is private transport. Now private people get them. All the molue, all the kekemawa. Is it well managed? Is it well looked after?
That's a good question.
Look at our banks. Are they not all private? Who is satisfied with their bank? Honestly speaking. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to criticize or throw shade. But
that's a very valid point.
No, our telcos, are they not all private? Are they not all private? So are we satisfied with the services that they provide for us? So, we as Nigerian people must now begin. It's high time we stop allowing people just feed our brains with depositing into our brains what they want us to think, and pause and actually think about it. The privatization of Nigerian refineries will not lead to the refinery working well. That's why they say we should privatize the supply of this petrol. I remember.
All right, let's take this one. This is from Timitumi saying, good morning, guys. This government has failed in ruling this country, and it's been run like current accounts, like stamp duties and all. Now billions in dollars of refinery that will never work. We are waiting for them in 2023. This is coming from a listener saying... So Mubarak is saying, honestly, given the level of public trust and support this government had when coming to power, if this refinery repairs or whatever term they call it in this time had come like in the first or second year of this administration, people would have taken them more seriously and we would have seen the impact by now, if at all there would have been any. But right now, they've lost that luxury of trust and massive support that they enjoyed earlier. My own is they shouldn't waste that money. Timmy is saying, okay, this is coming from Kilowansky saying, I can tell you that in a month's time, some national issues will come up and this refinery issue will be regulated or relegated, I beg your pardon, until we hear again, say people they faint for cuts from chopping the money. This is going from
this country
Igbo JC saying, Dear Ife and Sheon, this is simply the master and slave relationship which we in the South had since accepted as a result of our long throat and greediness. Until we decide what we want as a nation, we will continue to cry like a goat being flogged by the rain. This is coming from Bush Boy saying, any single dollar spent on the refinery is a waste. I wonder how we have one of the most educated and civilized people yet. We have the worst of characters in power who are very selfish and greedy. Let's take this one. Lagos Talks.
$1.5 billion.
Hello.
Ha. Are you Monica?
Hello, good morning again.
Hi, good morning. Who's
Can you hear
speaking?
me? So this is still Mr. T.
Mr. T from Italy. Hey, you didn't say it well.
From Italy.
Mr. T from Italy. Hey.
All right, Mr. T, let's hear you.
Okay, so I'm really happy about what they still mentioned regarding like public servants. Like they're serving us, right? So they can't be our masters. And I think we need a leader think of someone like Thomas Sankara. He was very young, even though he ruled for like 4 years, he accomplished so much. One of the first things he did was that he lowered his own salary, to like $450 a month and limited his possession to a car and 4 bicycles. And, he also reduced the salaries of all public servants, and if he forbade the use of, these government chauffeurs and first-class airline tickets. So if our country is going to get well, everything has to, like Tim said, the cost of leadership is too much in our country. These things need to be reduced, and then we'll know that we are serious.
All right, Mr. T. Lagos Talks. Good morning. Who's speaking? Please turn off your radio. Hello?
Yes, I say you have Obaro back on the line.
All right, the famous Obaro. Thank you for calling.
Yes.
All right.
For your information, I want to tell you this. Before this 1.5 billion announcement, the refineries were already undergoing repair. Okay?
Okay.
And another thing is this. The people who built the refinery, they had the expertise in the refinery. The one built in 1960 something, 1978, 1998, they had their expertise in this refinery, operating this refinery. And this expertise, they are not responsible to the manager of the refinery. They send their report directly to the GMB, Abuja. Okay, I had their names. I don't want to mention their names. In fact, one of them is our in-law, so I don't want to go into that. But another thing you have to know is this. The people who built this refinery, they rejected coming to repair the refinery. Majority of the petroleum, the bulk of it, through catalytic cracking processes that you can have abundance of fuel. But like I also said, the 450,000 barrels per liter crude given to the NNPC, that is 35 million liters of PMS in low per day. Where is it? You look asking these people, and they're pulling all over our eyes, and we people because we are supporters of this government. No, gas is what you get from the fuel station, and they are flaring it and wasting it. You understand?
Sorry to cut you off, sir. Sorry to cut you off, sir.
We need technical experts to hold them accountable so that they can answer us. Those refineries as they are, all four of them, I've been to all of them, and I know what the state government cannot operate them in this
All right,
country.
sir.
At this type of refinery,
All right, sir. Thank you very much for your brilliant take on what's going on.
Yeah, because in some towns in Niger Delta, some of my friends tell me that the gas flaring there is 24 hours.
24 hours.
And it is against the law to even for I think 1 hour. By 1 hour, you pay fine.
Wow.
For an hour of gas flaring normally. They don't stop the gas that letting it gas that we should be using.
Well, Mr. Alvaro, thank you very much. We're going to be wrapping up, any moment from now. But thank you really, 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 really much for giving us not only, an expert perspective, but, first-hand information as well.
45 million barrels a day.
As regards.
Nobody's talking about that. If they say 30 million a day we are consuming.
Wow.
So if we are locally refining 450,000 barrels, that is 45 million barrels a day, then why are we importing petrol?
In the first place. All right. Let's take this last call and then we're going to wrap this up.
Hey.
All right, we lost that call. It's 11:56. It's time for us to say goodbye on the show for today. Thank you so much for being a part of the People's Perspective show. It's always a pleasure. Thank you very much for coming in, as always, keeping it real, and giving us different perspectives as regards the topical issues that are trending in Nigeria.
Yes, so 1.5 billion locators this week.
Amen. I receive it.
$1.5 billion. Anywhere you are.
I receive it. All right, Sheon, before saying goodbye, please drop your details.
Yeah, it's Big Bed Kuti on Instagram, at Real Sean Kuti on Twitter. Facebook, Shewan Klabo Kuti. Yeah, check the kid out.
Alrighty, guys, you can reach out to me on Instagram and Twitter at Ify_I. That is IFY_I. The midday show isn't over yet. Even before getting into more that you should be expecting, please follow Lagos Talks across all social media platforms at Lagos Talks 913, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. For those who've missed out on the previous editions of The People's Perspective, check out our videos on YouTube, Lagos Talks 913. Please subscribe, watch our videos, like our videos, comment, and share our videos as well. I have a couple of interesting people that will be stopping by today in the studio. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag yet, so please ensure that you're a part of every bit of what's going on the midday show right here on Lagos Talks 91.3. Once again, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
We are Lagos Talks 91.3.
Let's talk.